All right. Welcome. Just want to make sure I get an audio check. Salute to you, Marcus. Appreciate you. Definitely appreciate everybody for coming in. This is Angelus representing for the Gray Pill Podcast. We have a great, interesting conversation. If anybody heard of game The SIMS, that's been around since the early 2000s. I came across in a space where I met a husband and wife in the Canadian side, and we had an interesting conversation, got to know them a little bit well, and they exposed that, hey, we played the games on The Sims, we met one another, and we dated, we courted, and we're married. And I was like, really? That's a conversation. So this has been going on a while for a couple weeks. So I'm going to introduce them as we come up. So, but definitely we're going to get the intro going. So again, I appreciate everybody for coming in. If you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, definitely hit the like bell, because we all know YouTube is kind of wonky with the rules and regulations. So sometimes take you off, sometimes take you on. So you hit all the notifications, every upload, every short I have, every community tab to get updated and posted on everything currently going with the Gray Pill Podcast. Because here at the Gray Pill Podcast, we believe in free thinkers, open perspectives, and great conversations. So here we go. So I appreciate everybody for coming on through.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
At last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
All right. I appreciate that. So again, I'm gonna get the introductions out the way. I'm gonna start this over. I saw like a little glitch there in the beginning. Brittany B, I appreciate you. Definitely. Musketeer Media, appreciate you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Just Jerry Podcast with the Flames, appreciate you. Harley Dad, appreciate you. Marcus, one of my best mods out in the game, appreciate you. Wally, another mod, thank you, appreciate you. Salutes. Bismo, appreciate you like always. And who do we have left? Stephen Berry, appreciate you for coming on through. Appreciate the support. Definitely appreciate the support. We need that. Berserker, appreciate you. Deb, like always, thank you. The International Soapbox, also representing for Knowledge and Relationship. Definitely check them out. Good family over there. Great family. Wendy B. We gotta find out where that B come from. I'm getting hungry already. Wendy B of AZ, appreciate you. Deb, thank you, appreciate you. Moti, appreciate you. Wanda E, Eyes of J, I like that name. I really like that name. Appreciate you. Andy, thank you for coming on through. And we got a beggar for the wrench. Always that one person. I want a wrench. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the most awesome, amazing Canadian couple that dawned and spawned from online games, The Sims. If you haven't heard of the game Sims, I advise you to Google it, look it up, because it's still active and very popular today, which is crazy to me, because I remember The Sims since, they could probably correct me on this one, I remember Sims back in PlayStation days when people was having babies on the line. So go figure. So I like to introduce what in my mind I call y'all by the name. So I go by Vic and BC Live. So if I see, the missus, I say Mrs. Vic BC, and I just go by Vic. So if y'all want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
That's fine. It's actually Rob and Tanya.
Okay.
as the name.
But I get called Vic more than anything. And
You
she
get
gets
called Mrs. T sometimes
I
too,
actually
because
get
I
that.
go by Mrs. T VicBC online. So
Okay, cool. That's
yeah.
great. All right, so got to get straight to the beginning. So you met on Sims, right? So Vic, before you met the love to be, the one and only, I got to go ahead and butter up the woman so you can go ahead and yeah, you know how that goes with the females. So before you met her, Sims, what was you doing then? Like, was Sims the game was your go-to thing, or were you just like?
Well, mainly what was happening, I was big part, like Electronic Arts is who, brought the Sims out, right? And early on, the Sims 1, the very first Sims game, not Sim City or any of that, which was out way early, actually Sim Earth, whatever. I played anything that was Sims back in the day. But the Sims 1, I was a big part of the actual online community with. And the Sims Online was going to be released in 2002. And all of the people that were part of the basically the online community of the Sims 1, we all got this email that said, hey, there's this game going to be coming out. It's going to be just like the Sims 1, but it's going to be multiplayer. You're going to be, and they let us go in and test it, which was called Founders. So me and a whole bunch of, I don't remember how many at this time. So that's what basically, I kind of played that game from the start, testing it out, and then finally it went for full release in 2002 and later in 2002 in Japan. And basically I was just kind of in there playing around, and, you got to meet a bunch of people in there. And it was the first time the Sims ever kind of, you could go, everybody could build their own house, but you had to have money, which you would get a certain amount of money. It was a monthly membership for the game. And basically just got in there and kind of got my foot in, to the game, and got to know a bunch of the early on people. And then as people came in, just meeting people and chatting, and some friends, some got along, some didn't. And it was just in there building houses. But you also had a reputation system, right? So if you had people in your house for a certain amount of hours, you could actually get on the ranking boards of like the number one house, but they were also categorized like as a party house or as a skilling house or as a money house.
Love house.
Love houses. There was a whole ton of different categories.
Yeah.
Okay. So was you actually getting paid to do on Sims, or you just like, hey, let me just
No, I only got the early people only got founder status. That's what basically, and it actually showed on your profile in game. I think the icon was a little sim with a hammer or something, and that was your founder symbols. If you saw that, and you got little plaques that you could put in your actual house, and I was a tester. That's all it was. And, used to make furniture, and not furniture, but like stuff, items for this one. That was a huge community back then.
I'm going to be honest. I think the stuff that you're telling me now, it kind of reminds me of, I think that set a foundation from a lot of MMO games today. Like we have, because for me, it was World of Warcraft. It was, the new version Sims too, but they have a lot of MMO, DC Universe Online. I can't remember. It's another popular one that just came out too, but everything had to do the lines of crafting, building, molding, enchanting. If you had like your own house, your lair, separate, like anything you can get your hands on is pretty much the hot item of that day. So how did you come across? Because I know when it comes to couples, some people have the same story or the different story. So for you, Vic, what was your story of how'd you meet Miss Vic?
All right. Well, let's just be clear about it.
You have to look at
it. In the game, I had been playing the game for a few years now at this point, and had definitely built up my people that I knew in the game and all of that. And one of the biggest problems, and I think it's probably why the Sims Online went down, it turned into a huge, very mafia run kind of game. So everybody virtual mafia, right? And this is no joke. Anybody that played back in the day, they know that there were certain neighborhoods, like the bigger a neighborhood, your name would pop up on like the map view or something like that. And so basically, I was running a pretty nice mafia family. We weren't, there's only so much a sim can do to another sim. I go over there and body slam if you've got your body maxed out, or it was pretty goofy, but it was definitely, you know, that's what was going on. So I was running a mafia family, and I had a casino, this big, huge, beautiful casino that I built, and it was beautiful. I know the story it's the story that sounds ridiculous.
Let the mob boss talk. Let the mob boss explain it.
That's right. That's right.
Letting them talk.
But that is what was going on. I was running a casino, and she came into the casino one night, and you could actually hide your sim, and I would do giveaways, prize giveaways in the game. And, you know, one of them was, you know, if you find me, I think it was win a date and something like that. But I was also giving away, you know, in-game cash prizes.
I made it very clear I didn't want the date.
Okay.
You still looked for me, though.
If I can interrupt here, just going to tell you.
Sure, yeah. We need to have the
I'm just going to tell you how I started the game. Okay. I started the game because I had a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay.
She wanted to play this game. She said, Mom, I want to play this game. And I said, I'm going to play it first to let you know whether it's appropriate for you to play. Correct. So I downloaded this game, and I knew nothing about anything other than at this time, you know, I didn't do much online or anything like that. Maybe some chat rooms and stuff. I download this game. Within the first hour, I realized this is no way my 6-year-old daughter's playing this game. These are all adults. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I became fully engulfed in it because I'm home. It's like, this is like social, like I've never known. This is great. So you can go back on to how we met.
Oh, no, that was, so at that point, you know, she's not allowing her daughter to play this game. And, you know, the fact that I was kind of running a family. Now there was tons of people running families, and you know, I was just one of them, and we knew a lot of each other. Mostly everybody got along.
Vic, did you have a mafia name?
Yep.
Skazakazi.
The Skazakazi family.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was it. Yeah, and there was multiple different cities that people could play on, but you could have another character on. You know, you could have up to 3 cities, basically, but each city was a different character. So you always had your main character who had the most skills on the one, and that's the one where I ended up meeting her. Was my main account, I guess, or whatever it was.
I ruined his family. Just saying.
Well, women always do in an Italian family. They always do. every Godfather movie, it's always a woman come in, just mess it all up. He'd be so focused, go clean it all over the place. You don't know. So, so is this story accurate to you, Ms. Vic, to what he's saying? Like, you know, he got
accurate so far, except for I did look for him, but I did make it very clear.
Why'd you look?
Well, because it was a game. I wanted to find you. It was
like trying to get prizes.
It's a prize, right? I want to win something. I had no desire, but yeah, I did find him.
Okay. How long was you playing before you met you found him?
A week.
Wow.
I was just jumping around from house to house. I had no clue what I was doing.
Okay. That goes back to the ranked houses. So I mean, and that's true. You know, it was about a week of her playing the game. The more ranked your house was, the more popular it was. It would show up better on the lists. So, you know, you had a top 100 list for like every category.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the more like some of the people that had not very popular houses, they wouldn't get found, you know, but basically if your house was popular, it would show up in the higher lists. So that's how, you know.
Yeah. Neither of us were, I mean, we developed a friendship after a while because I got taken by another mafia family. They took my whole house. He warned me. He said,
"Don't do that." No, I'm telling you, I know that guy. No, you're.
Yeah.
Anyway, she signed the house over to him, lost all her stuff, all her furniture, everything.
So I had to move in with him because I didn't have a house in the game.
I feel like I have to tell this story now because this is the craziest story ever. I can relate to that one, but I never gave anything away. Okay. If anybody ever played DC Universe Online, right, and I played that hot and heavy, I went on, and it was a raid you can queue up for. So we had built a raid group to go in. Now, it was a guy by the name of Black Jesus. He came in there with us, one of the most hardest raid ever. We spent like a whole hour. We finally beat it. Everybody was on the mic cheering and being all happy. Next thing you know, we're looking around like, where's our loot? Because anybody knows if you defeat a boss or some NPCs, you're supposed to get some kind of loot drops, and everybody looking for the rare item. Nothing dropped for a whole good 60 seconds. Next thing you know, we're asking like, hey, where's loot? Where's loot? And then we hear in the chat text, we see Black Jesus' name pop up. He's all the way in the back at the exit entrance, and he says, "God bless you," and he disappears. And then we look at the loot list. He has every loot that we had go straight to him.
Wow.
From that day on, he had a whole reputation about him. He was like, "Yo, Black Jesus was stealing from everybody in every."
So
game.
when you set up a team in DC, there is it you can choose whoever set the team up gets all the loot, or whoever loots gets all the loot.
It was either master looter or it was like rarity, something like that. So you can kind of get a better chance of the where item can actually drop. So he actually set it up where he actually put it custom for himself. So he put it where all the loot would go to him, and we wasn't aware of it. And we just like was happy to get in. We was amped up for the raid. We felt like we had a good team. We went in there, just played our roles to the fullest. And then as soon as we beat it, we was all happy about it, bragging rights for ourselves. Like, okay, where's my loot? Where's my money? Where's my loot? Where's my items? And Black Jesus was up at the exit, like, God bless you. And he left.
See you later.
Nothing else, just God bless you.
Wow.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah. It's kind of what happened to me, except for it was a little bit worse because he came into my house. I had a wedding chapel. Yep. I had built a wedding chapel, and I was actually hosting marriages in the game. And I had put a lot of money into this place and built this place. And this guy showed up and he said, I want to invite you into our family and everything else. And I said, well, what does that mean? What do I get when I join a family? Well, you get this and that and everything else. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, so all you have to do is I land on your property. You make me a roommate. He says, I'm not going to stay as a roommate. Don't worry about that. And I said, okay, I didn't know. And he's like, okay, so you click this. So now I'm a roommate. He said, okay, now you just click transfer this, blah, 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 transfer ownership. He says, now you just leave the property for a minute. And when you come back in, then whatever will happen. And I'm like, okay. So I leave the property and that's it. I can't get back in. Everything's gone.
And he banned her from the
property.
And
he banned me from the property. So I show up at his casino going, what just happened? He said, I warned you. I told you. I said, well, can I live with you? I don't have a place now. Can I live with you? He was iffy about it, but he was still trying to. His sim was always trying to kiss me and stuff, and I would always deny it. So he finally let me move in, and boy, was that a mistake, huh?
Oh yeah.
That's funny. So how long? Okay, so how long y'all was friends before y'all decided to be like, okay, well, let's see what happens.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not. I was down in South Florida.
Okay.
And she was in Vancouver,
Canada.
Okay. 1,000 miles away.
Very long distance away. So we, I think it was about 6 or 7 months in that we were just in game.
Yeah, I think it was September 2004 is when we kind of started talking. It was around September.
Yeah. He had asked me to call him. He said, and he gave me his phone number.
Okay.
And he said,
and this was a few months later.
I think it was 6 months later. He said, call me. And we had already talked lots, but I didn't want to call him. I'm like, no, I'm not going to phone him. That's weird. That's just too.
Yeah, I think it was Skype. back then.
That's
the first time we had actually talked.
Yeah, but he gave me his phone number. Yeah. Gave me his phone number, and I kept looking at that phone number, and I'm like, I hadn't heard your voice yet. We'd only talked in game. Kept looking at the phone number, and I'm like, I want to call him. I just want to hear what he sounds like because curiosity, right?
Yep. Well, let me just pause right there. So, because for a lot of people don't know, back then, and this is my memory too, y'all can correct me wrong. Back then, because I didn't know this for The Sims, I figured like y'all actually had voice interaction. Because anybody that knows early 2000s, some games like it wasn't Call of Duty. It was one before Call of Duty. It was definitely Midnight Club. Certain games you couldn't actually talk to one another, voice. You either pretty much had like a texting system where you can conversate to one another, or you can like put a set text for yourself, and you can hit a certain button, and the sentence will actually come up.
Yeah.
So for Midnight Club, that's how we was. So we'll have like 8 selections. It was like 4 automatically. Then you can switch it and have the other 4. So it was one guy, I forgot what his name was, but he was a great car driver. But every time he wins or do something dramatic and still quote unquote flexing, he will always have the saying said flare country. Kind of like, hey, a haha moment, I got you. So that's pretty much how we did. But the cool thing about that was versus how people go by like body language and all these extra stuff that's going on how we're talking now and communicating. Back then, you literally knew a person by his gameplay, how he articulated his words in conversation, and just what he did interacting wise. Like if he or she had the same pattern in those 3 ways, you instantly knew. Because they were people back then, it was people that was either pretend to be you, because they didn't really have like a system where it's like, oh, I can't be VicBC. If I clone his avatar, his name, you couldn't do that. So a little bit after PlayStation 2, that's when that started happening, where people had the rights to their own name. If I put quote unquote, which is my gamer channel, Dangerously Active, but I'm the Mad Hatter over there. If nobody couldn't clone Mad Hatter, it was just like a no. Respectfully, you're not supposed to, but if somebody tried to, they just couldn't.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that. I just want to throw that in there because a lot of people didn't know how things was back then versus now. Everything just so wide open. Hell, you can now they got the VR game, so you can just like put some goggles on, you can play.
Yeah.
So
I've gotten into that. That's a whole different world to me. That's
it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy.
We were talking about it today, and we said nowadays, not a chance that we would have met, because I have trust issues with all this AI and everything else that's going on.
People talk AI voices.
You can have a different voice. You can have whatever you want. I would never trust it at all.
Correct.
Mind you, he always says to me, "What were you thinking? You shouldn't have trusted me."
Florida man, really?
Florida man. He still to this day says to me, "I can't believe you did that."
Hey, but you're a lucky man. Now you still got her.
Oh yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we like
now,
that.
the funny thing is, you're talking about the emotes and all that of the early games, and I remember the hotkeys for like just certain lines, or a lot of the games even had a preset line. You couldn't even write your own line in there. Like it was only a list of lines that you could pick from and, use your, your hotkey for or whatever. That was the neat thing about The Sims, is that say you like somebody, you could actually, like blow kisses, or you could go and hug somebody or dance with them. That was one of the first times I'd ever seen anything like that, because you had it in The Sims 1, but now you've got this multiplayer game that you can actually show a little bit of an emotion, even though you're a couple little characters, a couple little avatars. But if you like said, you could go in and set up a dance with somebody, or host a dance at your house, and people would come over. That was kind of cool.
What are you talking about? Our Sims made out.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
He built me a little garden.
Great Pill. It's a family channel.
He built a little garden one day with a pond and everything else, and he just said he wanted me to come over and sit on the bench with him.
True story.
If anybody, any anime fans out in the chat or on the replay, this reminds me so much of a Sword Art Online. It's just like it's 2 anime characters. They dive in, they're plugged into the system, they meet each other, they fall in love. They actually have the wedding ring, everything else. It's just like now you come back out in this real life. Here you go.
Yep.
They survive all the Holocaust of the online gaming world. Now they're here in real life. Like let's be one.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, we totally got married in game.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Okay. Yeah. Eventually. Oh, okay. So you told now your standards in game and off game.
Oh yeah. No, we got married in game, but it was a rocky road. The casino.
Yeah.
He didn't call me one night after we were talking on the phone. He didn't call me one night. He was going out to a party or something like that, and I said, okay, I'll talk to you after. Well, he didn't call me. So in the game, I moved all his furniture out onto the lawn. In the game.
Yep.
I put a big billboard out on the lawn, so anybody that landed there would see it. That his whole house was moved. Everything was outside.
In a game, this girl threw all my shit on the lawn.
I did.
Sorry for swearing there.
Oh, you're fine.
Yep. I threw all this stuff on the lawn, and I can't remember what the note said, but it was something.
You should have called.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember the note.
Yeah,
but
there was definitely, the beauty of it is we went through our fights and arguments in the game. So by the time we had met and together in real life, we were done with all that. I had already thrown his stuff on the lawn. We had already had our little issues. We did it all in the game. But you definitely get to know somebody on a different level when you're lacking that physical. And this had nothing to do with physical. This was literally just us talking to each other and getting to know each other. Thanks, Coda.
Hey, Coda.
Yeah. So
okay, that's pretty cool. So from then to the time y'all was actually decided, hey, let's talk and be official, to the point of y'all actually meeting together, like how long did that take?
about a year.
Okay, good year.
Yeah.
So
About a year.
you was ready then? You felt like you was ready at the time?
Just
like,
to
hey,
meet. Yeah,
Just to meet. Yeah. No,
Okay.
we were definitely ready. We were, you know, he found ways to send me roses to my house and stuff from Florida to Canada. And during that time, that was pretty crazy. You know,
Okay.
I didn't know that all that was, you know, we would mail each other snail mail letters.
Okay.
Old school.
Spray them, send each other songs, you know, your typical whatever. But we finally decided that we were going to meet. The reason why we decided we were going to meet is we one night, and I'm going to throw you under the bus for being a romantic here. One night we were not in the game, and we said we we're both going to take a night off and we're going to watch a movie. So we didn't discuss what movie or anything. We were just going to both take a night off, and we weren't going to talk to each other that night. We were going to watch a movie. Well, the movie we both ended up watching that night was Sleepless in Seattle.
Nah, Vic. No.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
Hey, don't judge, man. It was the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
No.
So
I was a romantic. What?
when we found out that we had both watched the same movie that night without knowing it, we decided we were going to meet in Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we figured that was a cool idea, and yep, we did the Seattle for a few days, and you know, did all the stuff that you would do in Seattle. Go to the, you know, the Space Needle, and it was pretty cool.
Karaoke.
Oh yeah, lots.
How
of
long
karaoke.
you was down there the first time, Vic, just for a visit? Was it just a weekend, a week?
4 days.
4 days in Seattle. It was supposed to be 2, but we prolonged it.
Their
Okay,
car, the car that she drove in on, they mysteriously broke down
so that we could have a little more time.
Okay. I respect. Ladies, there you go. Make excuses for your man to hang on to him a little bit longer. There you go. I like that. You don't get that much no more. You get just people just tell you whatever. Okay, that's good. All right, so you met on Sims. She threw your furniture out in the mafia house, you know. So now the family got to talk to you, Vic. Yeah, so the family got to talk to you about all that.
Oh, we forgot about the family.
Okay, we'll get to that because I heard a rumor about Sims a long time ago, and I'm gonna ask it later, but y'all tell me if it's true or not. So you decided, hey, you know what? We've been talking. Everything seemed like it's going the way it should be. Let's see if we can meet up from there. So when you met up, had the 4 days, was you like, okay, this could be a real thing, or you just say, you know what, we're just better as friends? Like, how did that conversation go?
That conversation was home. In the airport, first hug, both of us knew 100%. This is home. This is my person.
Okay.
I had no idea whether he lied about his weight or I lied about mine. Actually, we both lied. He played with me a little bit on the phone in the airport. He could see me. I couldn't see him. He's on the phone. He's going, I can see you. And I'm going, where are you? This is making me crazy. I'm shaking. I'm like sweating. He's like, I can see you looking around. Look this way. Look that way. He played with me in the airport for a little while. He showed up and he had a pink poodle in his pocket because in the game.
He's wearing a leather jacket, though.
Leather jacket. Yes, he was.
A leather jacket with pink poodle. Okay.
I had a leather jacket on too. We were both pretty cool. So but in the game,
I had the pink poodle.
He had the
pocket.
pink poodle for me because in the game I always wanted a pink poodle, which I did finally get. Had to buy it off eBay though.
Okay, shout out to eBay.
Yeah, at that time you could sell your goods. That's why it was really rough when you got ripped off in the game.
Correct.
But he had a pink poodle in his pocket, and for us that was home. We knew right away, right when we saw each other.
Okay, I appreciate that because a lot of people don't. I hear rare conversations like that. People know, but then they'll still make more of detailed conversations what need to be versus what you already had the whole year of the who, what, with, ends, and how. So, okay, so move forward. Y'all knew from there. Got home. Well, you, Vic, you pretty much went back. Now, did you travel back to visit his area, Miss Vic, or no?
No.
Okay.
We talked about he was going to move here within 6 months.
Okay.
No, I was in Canada a month later.
And we've been together since.
Okay. So just to make it clear, so the reason why he came to you because you had a child at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that it didn't make any sense for you to just jump with your child, just go to
No, of course not.
And Florida sucks. Some parts. Miami, shout out to Miami. That's a whole other animal. I don't consider Miami as a state, a whole planet, if you will.
Yeah.
But,
No, Florida did suck. I mean, there was, growing up in Florida, there was a lot, won't go into this because that's not what the show's about. But I mean, with the fact, it wasn't hard to leave Florida other than my family, my mom, being there. That was the only hard, thing of leaving the actual state and the country for that matter.
For sure.
But as far as Florida goes, I mean, it's,
okay.
If it wasn't for mom, I got no desire to be there,
Okay. So how was you at the time, Vic, when you decided to relocate to your current wife now?
I was packing.
His family thought he was crazy. Well, his family wasn't too bad. It was your work people.
Yeah.
They were, because he worked for some Italians.
Yeah.
And
it was a big Italian family from New York, and they had, bought a business down in Florida, and I worked for them. And they said, "Well, you need a woman. You need a woman. I get you. Well, you have to go Florida.
You don't have to go to Canada
for me."
At least they offering.
Yeah.
I got some flack too. Yeah, we both got some flack because it was pretty quick, right? So I mean, after we met, it was very quick. So people were saying, "What are you doing?"
Wally, I loved growing up in Florida. Just so you know, I throw it under a little bit, but I'd go there.
Yeah, I'm literally like maybe an hour, 50 minutes, the main road, the borderline, and then after that it's like Panama City. But every other part of Florida I visited, I just can't with Miami. I can't. I got a buddy in Hollywood, Florida. That's the only reason I would go. I got a few classmates just in the outskirts of Hollywood or a little bit outside of Miami. An older brother somewhere in that area. He's fighting to relocate because he did Army like 32 years. I think Texas may be his mindset to go. So I don't know because he grew up in Tampa all his life. So I don't know. I just Miami period. So much stuff going on. I just can't. It's a lot. Plus
Miami's brutal. It
is. It's between New York and Florida. There's always something going on with the news. Always something going on with the people. It's a lot.
Yeah. I've never been to Miami, so yeah. Never been.
South Beach is awesome, and you go down the strip, the beach is gorgeous.
Right.
They got all the old, colorful buildings. You go a couple blocks over, you just don't stop. You keep going.
That part.
Yeah.
Okay. So your mom was kind of cool with you, y'all two guys, just like, all right, my baby boy. Was you the oldest? Or the youngest?
Youngest.
Okay, so your baby going off, to some Sims harlots. You met in the mafia. Did you even was that your conversation? Like, how do you break that out to people like back then? Like, hey man, mom, I met a girl. She in Canada. You know what? She was from the Sims. She looked at her avatar was hot. So
well, mom knew, flat out, that I was gaming and all that. And, she knew my involvement with the Sims, very well.
Okay.
And I always loved the Sims, all the way back to Sim City, Sim Earth, going way the heck back. I've always been a Sims nerd, for anything they had out there. Sim City I loved, but, like I said, when Sims 1 and, they started doing all that, and so she knew all about the Sims Online, and she knew about her too. So I
talked to her on the phone too.
Yeah.
I mean, during that time, I had also talked to mom on the phone. So it was
within that year of us talking before even meeting, everybody had kind of talked to everybody, and there was a lot of talking. Like Correct. It was.
Yeah, I lost my sister for 5 years after you moved here, though.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
She wouldn't talk to me. She thought I was crazy.
Really?
She thought I was crazy.
Oh, wow.
She couldn't understand what I was doing. She's like, I don't understand this. When I went to Seattle from Vancouver Island, even, it's like, what are you doing? You're going to meet some random stranger over in, they figured that I probably needed to get some mental health help.
Yeah, some therapy. But did they understand that y'all at least been courting for the whole year before you made the decision to?
Yes, but they didn't feel that was true courting because we had never met personally.
Yeah.
So online, they were, there's no way that you guys can be considered dating in any way, shape, or form. This is not real.
Did she offer at least like, because he was there for 4 days? That'd have been the best chance for me. Like, hey, this is my sister. I love her. I want to protect her. Let me at least go from that, at least that one day evening. Let me meet him to.
No, I didn't meet him in Canada. I met him in the US in Seattle. We made so my family was here in Canada.
So did your sister like want to take the time out to meet him just to?
Well, she wasn't invited.
Fair enough.
We're good now.
Yeah, you broke the mold.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're talking 18 years later, right? I mean,
almost 20 years.
Yeah,
so
it was September 05 when I got to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we know where we are now.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Sun Honey Studio says, but the beautiful part is your friends first, and that's literally the whole key of it.
That's huge.
Yes, big, huge, because a lot of people, I would say myself, because I did the long distance relationship before. I don't knock it, and you got to kind of work out your kinks of it. So on that note, what advice would you give other people out there, even myself, if we decide to say, hey, we want to try a long distance relationship? Not per se the gaming side, because technically that was a long distance relationship. So what advice would you give people out there just on the long distance advice when it comes to relationship? Because the time then was different, like you said before.
Yeah, the time was different. Be yourself for sure.
That's the biggest one, is actually be yourself. I mean, I wasn't a mob boss, but that little character running around was my personality. It was me. It was, I wasn't acting like, other than the mob boss thing.
Yeah.
I was playing a game, and just kind to people, and
Yeah, you have to be yourself for sure. You can't if you're in a long distance relationship, you are going to meet eventually, and they will find out if you've been lying to them.
Right.
So very important to just be yourself and figure it out from there. Would be my.
A lot of people say, it's always easy to ask forgiveness later, and that's not the case when you're dealing with emotions and people. If you just be yourself from the start, if you can't be yourself, you're not going to know if the other person likes you or not. So just be real. And if it's not going to work for who you are, then it's the wrong person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did y'all have any difficult questions with one another as y'all was transitioning?
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. I was a little worried. He's younger than me. And as you know, I already had a child. So I had some concerns there for sure. I was worried that I was going to have this like surfer dude showing up at my house because we had some talks, and he would go out and party in Florida and stuff. That was when I would put his, furniture out on the lawn and everything. And I would tell him, you do realize life's going to be a lot different when you're dealing with a kid and everything else. This isn't just going to be a party. Like, it's not going to be just fun and games. And so we had to have those conversations. We had to have our conversations on how we would parent, how it would go, and how it would, and I had some pretty strict rules as a single mom of that, there's certain things that doesn't happen. I don't spank my child. I don't, whatever. I had my rules, and what are you going to do in this situation? But I also
get you deal with it.
I also made it very clear that I would never belittle him in front of my kids. To, it would be a conversation on the side.
Yeah.
And I think one of our biggest things that we had talked about was that I would never talk at him ever. We would always talk to each other. And we had decided that long before he got here. We were going to always talk to each other, not at each other. So
that's really good advice. I definitely appreciate that for the people out there who's just having a general relationship versus even with the long distance relationship too. You got to be yourself, silly, goofy, whatever. Did y'all have any disagreements? Let's say, I got a common one. Long distance relationship, because I'm a type of person, like, I like to text a person a lot because we can't see each other all the time. Work out a schedule. If you say, there's one I did with somebody, but I think it goes to how much energy you put into somebody else that you will like receive to you. Meaning, like, Vic, if you say, hey, I love the texting, I love this, and Vic's like, okay, cool. You're up at 7 o'clock, I'm gonna text you at 7. If you're, about to get home at 2, I'm gonna go ahead and text you at 2. But then Vic just don't respond to you 2 days, 3 days later. Or, did y'all have like little hiccups like that? Like feelings like, oh man, this person never reached out a day or 2 or 3 days or a week.
No, nothing really like that. That's the funniest thing is that, we were so, I hate to use the word compatible.
Yeah.
But we were so much.
We fell asleep on the phone with each other. Like we were, if any chance we had, I won't even tell you the phone bill that ended up occurring. Sorry to our family. I know some of you are watching. Yeah, no, we slept months next to each other with the phone. His snoring would wake me up over the phone,
and vice versa.
Yes. So no, we never had any of that issues. Anytime we could talk, we wanted to talk. There was no, you don't want to talk to me or I don't want to talk to you.
No,
anytime we were always willing to talk
and free moments. We knew when the other would be.
It didn't even matter if it was a moment. Whatever.
Well, that's true. That's just a
talk
just a
well
quick hello.
Working, talk well, whatever. Talk well, sleeping. Just talk all the time. We wanted to talk all the time. So. Yeah,
but we got, like said though, I mean, and it was mentioned earlier on, is straight up we became friends first. Yeah. And when you really like the other person, you want to hang out with them. And then when you realize that you're falling in love with that person, and
right.
Then it's like, well, what do we do to get together? We gotta let's take on the world here. We got this.
We used to say, I can't wait to breathe the same air as you.
Yeah, that was
our biggest thing. We couldn't wait to actually breathe the same air. So it was, I think because of it took that, it was hard to get together. It took so long to get together. Once we were together, we were just so happy to finally be together and in the same, because I mean, Florida, Canada, it felt like a real long way away from each other. So by the time he got
did you transition well into Canada, Vic?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was hard, to come to another country because, I came here on a visitor, basically, knowing that we were, not probably leaving. I wasn't, So the transition to be able to legally work, that's what was hard on me because I always had a job. I always worked.
Now he's got me supporting him for a few years.
Yeah. Like she's got to write that up on paper that, if anything happens,
right.
And he can't work, you're going to pay for him, and I joked about that too. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't find it so much fun after a while, but I always made sure.
No, it was.
Yeah. He didn't like that so much, but I make up for it now. I make him do all the work.
That's a true story. But that's cool, though. It gets me out of the house, 18 years later, it's like.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind you leaving now. It's good.
Yeah. Well, it's a good dynamic too. It's like if one, it's like you just can't be around the house just not doing anything with the other person working. You got to figure it out, help around the house or something until. Balance out a little bit. So.
Well, we did. I mean, I would go and I would do anything all the way, down to flea markets and side jobs, and go out and pick blackberry bushes and clear out, or not pick blackberries, but clear out, people's. For side jobs and stuff, though, which I hate. I'll never, ever clear out blackberry bushes again. ever in my life. But that's what I did, within the first 2 years here. That was,
while we were working on becoming legal. And we within the year of him being here, we also had our baby. So it was pretty quick.
Yep.
Okay. Next question. So how did you guys balance your gaming time with your responsibilities and commitments? And do you mind giving some strategies?
I didn't at all. When we were together, when we met in the game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I spent way too much time on there. Luckily, my daughter loved watching it.
Okay.
You mean before I got here or after?
Before.
Well, either or. Okay, like she said no when she was there. She's like, hey, I'm just here.
Yeah. And then once I was here, we've had side-by-side computers for 18 years.
Yeah. The good thing with The Sims, though, it is one of those games that you can set yourself up to skill.
Correct.
And you can leave. You can go get dinner done. You can go do stuff. You just have to come back in, take a pee, and do this and that, and then you're ready to go for another half an hour.
Fill their needs
up. So fill their needs up. So that game did work better for still being able to do your real life. And I mean, I couldn't justify having a clean house in The Sims and have my house a mess. So I would clean my house in The Sims first, of course, and then go do the rest of the house.
Yeah, because the current MMOs that we have now, even with the phone, I forgot a good person I know. She has this one game in the phone, and she same thing. You can enchant something or make something, but then you leave it, then they give you a time limit like, hey, this will be ready in 15 hours or 2 days or whatever have you, depending on what the item is. So to me, just like that's how we organize it. Back in the day, it was like, if I would do a mission, I know it takes like 20 minutes. I get up, take care of it, 20 minutes, get off, go to work, handle my business. And then if I'm coming home, the house is clean, whatever real responsibilities at home is done. Hop on the game, take care of a few raising missions, or do some, we call it runs. We do some runs and then hop right back off and then back to real life again. So that's how we normally did it. But in engaging a relationship with it, I never had the pleasure of. So that's why I'm asking y'all guys. So how did that work out for you? Now, since y'all together, was y'all both like, hey, let me be on your tune and play your tune, or we can just be together with the two computers side by side, or how'd that work?
Oh, yeah. No, I will play his sometimes, usually because he's heading out to work. And so I'll skill his while I'm, if when we were playing. We don't do a whole lot of games anymore. We did when he first got here. We were still playing, but it was almost like The Sims was our, we'd go back once in a while just because it's nostalgic to us.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost like that was the whole point of the game, was for us to meet each other. By the time we were together, it was like,
now, the real game itself closed in August of 2008.
Yeah.
August 1st. And there was warnings going up, and there was all this, and the whole sim community. That was actually a pretty sad day for a lot of, so I came here in 05, end of 05, near the end of 05, and just a couple of years later, the actual real game shut its doors.
We were still playing at that point, but we were also living real life.
Was that around the same time? Because I know... because The Sims was for what, PlayStation 1?
Well, we played it on the computer.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I know that The Sims came out on PlayStation as well. It was a little bit, the gameplay was a little different. Everything we pretty much did was PC. That was
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the majority of the people that we talked to and chatted with, it was the computer game. On the computer itself. So that's the one. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. You said it ended in 2005 for you for PC.
No, 08.
08 is when they actually shut down the game.
August 1st, we were all playing. There was a whole bunch of people hanging out. I remember.
I just got my pink poodle. I bought it off eBay.
Yep. And they had been threatening. They had threatened to close down before, and we thought, nah, there's no way they'll really do it. There's no way. No, it can't happen. And August 1st, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night or midnight or something, August 1st. And server went down, and tried to log back in. It says server not available. It's like, wow.
They didn't warn nobody like beforehand? Like
they did warn. They said it, but they had said it before. And
it was issue warnings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the game has been remade now, which is called Free SO now. And we have played that as well. We actually ran a pretty fun house together. People know us as a couple. People know us from way back when they met us in the game originally.
Yeah.
And we'll play it once in a while. So.
Okay. Because I was just looking at the because it had me think about for PlayStation. I want to say 2. I don't think it was 1, but definitely for PlayStation 2 or 3, they had it what called PlayStation Home, where you can go in this huge world, and they had you can buy the house you can put casinos and stuff in there. They gave people a heads up for that world going to shut down. Now, for anybody that's actually that still have their original PlayStation or PS2, you can still go there and click on it, but you won't allow in. It will give you like a whole, hey, welcome, appreciate you, but it's closed. That's how they have it. Yeah. It's so I'm thinking about maybe that was around the same time as that. That's crazy. Yeah.
We went over to Second Life after that for a little while. Played Second Life.
That was a whole different world.
Yeah, because PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PS3 just started doing crossover. So for y'all guys for BPC, it was like 3 fashions. It was like PlayStation had issues with Xbox. Xbox had issues with PlayStation. Nobody cared about PC at that time, and then now PC stepped into it. PC and Xbox is together, like this. Now PlayStation is finally being crossed over, where some games for PC players can be on, but not all. So yeah.
Yeah, you're hearing more and more about the cross-platforming, and it's just, which I think is cool. I mean, if some people aren't PC people, they are console, but you hear a lot of the people, and they want to play with their friends, but their best friend that loves the same game, they can't play together because this guy's a PlayStation guy and this guy's on the computer. So there's a lot of games that are definitely, doing the cross-platform now.
I agree. I'm more so on the I get what you're saying. I'm more on the other side. I'm the competitor. So I remember just for the PS2, it was a guy from the UK. He had the UK server for PS2. So he had to get our system to actually play. And it was a forum site where he actually he played for a minute and he acknowledged himself like, hey, I'm the guy from the UK. I can take all your guys on. Then it became a US versus the UK. Then it slowly became cross players. Now it's like, okay, I did everything I can on my server. I built my rep here on this end of the US server for, we'll say, PlayStation. Now Xbox step in. Now it's like an Xbox versus a whole nother world with PlayStation. Then here PC steps in. Now it's like PC, Xbox, PlayStation. Let's go.
Yep. Wow. No, that's true. And, and I know a lot of people on PC now that are using controllers instead of, the WASD and, clicking and all of that. They've actually got their controller plugged in. So they're definitely, mixing it all in together now. And, at some point you're going to be able to play anything, if it's an online game, I'm sure you'll be able to connect to it one way or another.
Yeah, I would think so for sure.
Yeah. They're getting there. I think they need to hurry up and do it all because I know Xbox has got the leading. Like, I'm not a fan of Xbox. I pretty much gag every time I hear the word. But I can't say this. They've been on top of the game with work with PC and everything else. PlayStation just now started coming into it behind with them. Now separately as separate developer. It's a little bit different. Like, you have your favorites, first you have the games, then you have like what one can do versus the other generation. So I'm really, really happy that the cross play is actually coming together where everybody can be involved. I think that would make it very, very playable for everybody.
For sure. Yeah, I agree.
And especially if you're into competitive, type games, you're getting more people together that you can, that you can play against or go after or whatever. I'm not as into the competitive games. We quite like survival games these days.
Yeah, that's what we enjoy playing because it's something we can play together. Though that's a good couples game, right? Because one's collecting, one's building, whatever. So we do enjoy games where we can work together to get our end mission done.
Mm-hmm.
So
did y'all have any challenging situations when y'all was living together and playing together as far as like game challenges that y'all need to meet, or it was just pretty much just all fun? Because again, he had the mafia. So was you like the queen bee when you came in there now?
Oh well.
I took over the mafia. I did. I took over.
What was your name there? What was your name?
My name was Tawana.
Okay.
And yes, it was play on my name, Tanya. So It was Tawana. And I took over the mafia. I was a teacher in the game, so I taught them all their skills that they needed. And we would have little parties and game nights and all kinds of different things. And and we all actually ended up friends with all the other mafias. And he says I ruined the game because they were no longer fighting. We were all having like buffets together, and everybody turned
everybody into a bunch of sissies.
We were all getting along, and and they all loved me. And he says, "You broke it. You broke the game. Now nobody."
Get it. I built this place. Down here, I make the rules.
That part.
I might be the reason why the server closed. I don't know.
less drama, Miss T. There you go.
Yeah. No, it was. I had a lot of fun. People all enjoyed it.
It was still fun even after.
They called me the Godmother T, and they. Can you teach me how to do this? Can you teach me this? Of course I can. Of course I can. Can you help me with this? Of course I can. I build people up. I hosted their weddings.
Which is such a terrible thing, right?
Yeah. I made everybody feel good about themselves. I mean, I know that's, an odd thing, but hey.
No, you need a guy to do pet rallies. There was a guy for Call of Duty. We could lose, and he talked so much trash. It made it feel like we was winning. So he's like, okay with that.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, I've
good.
played some PvP games and stuff like that. We've played many games, and you got the trash talking and everything else. I'm the girl that can go into Rust and make friends. And suddenly we're building a community in a game where nobody's supposed to like each other. I
Fair enough.
don't know why I do it. And I know, like my son doesn't want to play with me at all. He's like, you ruin it.
Really?
Well, yeah, he wants to kill people. And I'm like, no, don't kill him. He's nice.
What game was this? Because shout out to Walt. He said something in the chat. He said something about the oh my god, where is it? I should have saved it. He made a comment about since Sims made a claim that they wasn't a violent game, but Vic had made a statement about him being the mafia, people like outranking each other, and now Mrs. T making it the Stefford mom of the mafia family.
The worst thing that you could do in that game, and that's where the mafia families were rotten, and just like her getting her house taken from her, you would get someone that would want to be move in as a roommate or something like that, but they would actually be from one of the other families. They come in and trash the place.
Okay,
that's you're kind of griefing people's play. I mean, now you couldn't steal their stuff. You couldn't. It really was kind of a joke, but that was
they fed off new players that showed up.
Oh, of course. Oh, we love noobs. Yeah, we love them.
Yeah.
We love them.
They pick their stuff. Stepford T. Thanks, Multi.
Yeah. Too funny.
Cool.
Picking on me. I see you all out there. I see you.
I know now. Mm-hmm. So The Sims, a year. Some family and friends had the iffies about the relationship, which at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to say, but this is real talk. It's not them. They don't live with y'all. They don't pay y'all bills. It's none of your business. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the advice. Hey, you're not perfect. Hint, hint, wink, wink. We're not perfect. Let us figure it out. So now you're here. Can you tell the viewers and people on the replay how long you guys been married thus far?
18 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say 20 plus. Y'all know each other?
Yep.
Around 20. Yeah.
Yep. About 20 years we've known each other.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you been back to visit good old Florida, Vic?
Yep. Actually, the whole family up here went down once.
Okay.
And then we've been down a couple times. Did the whole family go twice?
I think the whole family went once. That's right.
The whole family went once, and then a bunch of us went a second time, and then
he's been back quite a few times because he's lost his father and stuff like that, so he had to go back.
Okay.
And we're hoping to go soon because obviously the last 3 years nobody was able to travel anywhere, so that's one thing we're definitely hoping to do is definitely get back and see family for sure.
Okay.
In 2020 we're actually planning to go down there, and then
and then
we all know what happened there.
And we all
my trip was going to be Japan. Then I was like, I guess I'm using all my Japan money for not stealing toilet tissue and hand sanitizer.
Toilet paper sanitizer. That's right.
Yep, no kidding.
That was the highlight of all the C19. Just like, hey, tissue going, sanitation going. Hey, how do you make it from scratch? I don't know. Okay, stock up on it. I don't know why. Maybe the toilet blower. I don't know what's going on. People was really trying to figure it out then. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did you? When he came to you and he was figuring things out, getting settled, did you go up there to visit at that time, or did you wait to get married then go to Florida to visit his family and friends, Ms. T?
No. We it was a good year. It took us a while before we got to go back. No, I talking on the phone and stuff. Though met people, talked on the phone and stuff like that. Met his family members through phone calls and through stuff like that. We were aware of how to keep in contact online with people. So and then when Facebook came out, then we end up having friends of friends, and we shared our friends over that way and got to know them that way.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of his friends come here because they were doing Alaska cruise, and it ended up porting here on the island. So we got to go and spend some time with them there.
That was pretty cool, actually, because that's these were friends from Florida, and cruising and stopping, in our downtown. And it's like, all right. They were staying here for a couple hours. It was like, okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. But we were busy. We were having babies and living life and doing our thing, right?
Okay. Now, speaking of babies,
Mm-hmm.
this is because this is a question I'm going to ask you. This is a rumor I heard a long time ago when The Sims came out. Is it true that you can have kids on the Sims game? Because you can have the furniture, you can have the house, you know, he put the little nice little garden and the people together. Can you have babies?
Not in the live one.
Not on the online one. No.
Not an online one. So after that ended, and then they had the new versions, that one you can have babies.
All the Sims, all the private Sims games that are not multiplayer, you can have babies. Yes, you can have alien babies. You can have all the babies you want. You can be whatever you want. But the multiplayer one, you can't have babies, but you can woohoo. And he's gone. What's woohoo?
Sorry, sneezed. Yeah, because it was because that was the rumor I heard, and somebody said they glitched it where they gave you a limited amount of babies you can have. And somebody actually glitched and put a cheat code where they was having like over 9 babies. And I'm like, why are you doing that?
The Sims has always been huge on mods, like like game mods, not moderators, but actual modifications for the game.
Thank you for
and you'd be insanely blown away at the amount of work that people put into the mods for that game. You can make them do anything. You can't even imagine something and it's not been done.
Yeah, in the actual Sims games themselves, for sure. I mean, in the actual Sim game, which we did play a lot of that, we play side by side, but we're not playing together. I'd look over and he's impregnated the whole city. They're all pregnant. Yeah. And I'm like, the nanny too? And he's like, yeah.
My social was down. I'm gonna pick my social up, and then one thing,
I'm playing this nice game on my side, right? I've got this, career and this and that. I look over at his, and he's got people screaming at him and yelling at him. There's all these kids. They're all pregnant. Everybody's pregnant. He's slept with everybody in the whole darn city. Yeah.
I like his face. He's like, yeah, he's so comfortable. Like, okay, they are pregnant. And they're figured out. They're figured out.
The offline version of The Sims was a blast. There's all kinds of stuff, and especially with the mods and all of some of the modifications that you can do. The community is super creative. The people that are still in the Sims community, all the way up. I think, what are we at? Sims 5 now or something? I don't even.
Yeah, I think it's Sims 5. I actually followed when I was like, because again, I never played the game. I remember y'all guys talked about it. I heard about it before, but I didn't know about the online Sims game. Only knew about for PlayStation 1 and 2. And then I thought it was, honestly, I thought the whole game was dead after that. And then when I met y'all guys and y'all had brought it up, and then as far as the conversation before today, I was doing my homework in it. So I only knew about where is it? Because I knew about EA. So if anybody knew about the EA developers, what I have here is the Sims Online, because again, that's 2 different things. The online Sims with Mr. and Mrs. T is on, also known as EA Land, was a massively multiplayer online variation of Max's computer game, The Sims. It was published by Electronic Arts and released in December 2002 Microsoft Windows. So that's what I knew from that point on. Anything else like the gens, the mod, the developer, that was it. And then I came across a woman by the name of, she has a podcast. I actually had tagged her if she had the time to even come on through or just make a comment after the fact. Her name, she goes by Plumbella. She did a whole conversation about The Sims Online is a pure chaotic good. So I guess she's been a fan for the longest. Very addictive from what the comments I was reading about it. So I don't know. It's a fan favorite. It is definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah, so, going back, I mean, like I said, this was early on, and like you said, 02, is when this online version came out, but there was a ton of games before that, and even into the 90s, I mean, I've still got the old Sim Earth, which I should go look that up and see. I mean, I've been lugging that thing around forever, and it's always been a huge franchise. Sims in general, simulators in general.
Yeah.
But it was my involvement with the Sims 1 community, which is the Sims, basically, not the Sims Online.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into the Sims Online, knowing that was coming out soon and being able to be early access into that game. That was a lot of fun.
But I would definitely say that anybody who's considering going to play at the pre-SO now, it is adults. It is not a children's game.
Don't throw your kid in there.
Don't throw your kid in there. It is adults out there. And the community is actually still a pretty good community. They're all our age now.
Yeah.
But it's a good community, and it's a lot of fun. And we had a lot of fun. And you know what? We'll always have a love for The Sims just because that's where we met. And even though he had been playing it for such a long time before I had even been introduced to it, my daughter, our daughter now, she always says, if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't have met.
And not wrong.
Yeah. So she's very proud of that. She's very proud of the fact that she was the one that brought us together. So
did she give y'all away at the wedding?
No, nobody gave us away. You can tell our secret.
Actually, everybody gave us away.
Everybody gave us away.
Yeah.
We're going to tell our secret.
Sure. All right, let's go.
We're not actually officially married.
Oh, that's the secret.
Well, we got married in the game. We figured that was good enough.
Just, you know what? I gotta get. I'm thinking of like, because this is like 2 spaces right here, so this is like a clip mode for them. In a lot of spaces, I don't know if you heard. There's the manosphere where it's like the black and the white, but the manosphere where they talk about relationships overall. There's pill communities that talk about relationships overall. And I think the one thing on the men's side that they will say unanimously, they prefer, the marriage within the eyes of the Lord, not the law. So, and that one, Vic, they will say you're winning at this point just for that alone. So,
I think one thing that we realized early on, there's a big difference between a wedding and a marriage. And we chose that we didn't need a wedding. We've already got a marriage. And we definitely plan on being married. We are married, but I mean, we plan on it. It's just there's no time. We got other stuff to do.
So it's a case of trying to get, all family together. We got family all over,
family for
all
sure.
over the place. And trying.
Oh no, this is gold for me. I'm loving the fact that she's saying it because again, it's so many spaces I've been in, especially when they talk about the relationships. They harp so much on the woman's side, and the stuff she's saying is not a guy saying it, so it's like gold for them. Like yes, and I'm like, women do the stuff you're saying, Miss T. I'm like, women do say these things. Women are like, okay, I don't mind. Hey, if he's a good guy and he's a decent person and he's, for me and I'm for him, like I said, my person, I don't mind. Hey, obviously he was in your home around your child at that time and y'all developed and grew. Here you are now. Hey, his is yours and yours is his.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And now the fact you're throwing the marriage part, like, hey, we got time for a wedding. There's a lot of money out there. We can put that money to us. And this is a woman saying this. So to the pill communities, to the manospheres on both sides of spaces, there you go. All right. So take that one and run it to everybody else.
Yeah. You can be just fine without it. So
yeah.
Right.
Not important. But if it was important for our family for a long time, and then we know that it was important for them, and we wanted to do it, to have our family together. Yeah. But I had my parents here who were sick, and we were actually looking after them. And then he had his family in Florida. There was no way we could get us all together, and it wouldn't be fair if we did it here with my family and not them in Florida. It wouldn't be fair to do it in Florida without them. And we're like, do we really need to even be stressing about this? Why should this be a stress?
Well, it ended up not being a stress.
It ended up not being a stress.
That's the biggest thing. It's like this, that we're not going to put any energy into that. We love each other. Neither one. I mean, we've never fought. I think we've had maybe less than a handful of heated conversations.
Sometimes I think that piece of paper is so that makes it harder for you to leave each other or something. And if you're worried that you're going to leave each other, maybe you shouldn't get that piece of paper.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
We are not marriage counselors, though, so don't
don't accept our.
You guys out there, if she's saying put a ring on it,
Oh, I've got rings.
That's true. She's got lots of rings.
I got lots of rings. Oh yeah. We used to go to karaoke, and he proposed to me at karaoke, and I would always say yes, and they would buy us all drinks all night long. We're at karaoke, and they'd be congratulations,
romantic and clever.
Congratulations, and then
I got a lot of big. I thought about that too. It's like, yeah, if we go to it, we can have like the engagement every time we go somewhere. Every time, I like that.
We've done that. Yeah, it works well actually, and you just go somewhere different and you propose again.
You get up there and sing some kind of love song, and then propose right after, and they're, oh my goodness, oh, I love these guys. Waitress, get them a drink.
It was all very true, though. It was all very true. Yeah. I always genuinely said, yes, I will marry you. But I'm not planning it, and I'm not paying for it. So
there you go.
Somebody in chat there, I think it was Sun Honey, they just said elope. Yeah, Sun Honey, elope. That's probably what's going to end up happening at this point.
Yeah, at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go on a little vacation somewhere.
But we've had we have had our own little, moments where we have said our own vows to each other that we feel for each other, and
And to be perfectly honest, you're saying vows right now as you're talking. That's your vows. Your actions is your vows. Your words are your vows. You're saying them all the time. So that's the part that I don't want to steer it from anybody else. Like, I get it. Most people want to do the wedding thing, and that's fine. But like you just said, you got to think realistically about marriage. What does it entail? So me personally, that's a whole financial thing about it. So if you want to do that, cool, let's do it. But let's not stress as much as it should be.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to compare like a housewarming party, whatever, to a wedding. But if I invite like 4 people over my house, to me, that's a headache alone. And then you got like what, 100?
You're like us.
200 people. What, $20-something a plate? I'm right now. I'm thinking in my head, that's like $20-something a plate. They're eating my food that I'm paying for, and then they're gonna still complain during the time. Like, somebody always gonna complain. I'm paying you to come here to enjoy our love, and you complaining? All I ask for, fish, chick, or steak. Pick one. That's it.
Yep, these are facts.
Yeah, all this money I could have did, we could have took to us. We could have went on our own trip, did the whole wedding thing. Now, family, this is me now. I can't speak to nobody else. Our money been our money. We went to a whole trip, our honeymoon. If anybody want to join with us, you're more than welcome. You pay for your own plane ticket, you get your own room. Because if you love and respect us and you want to be part of that community like you say it is, hey, there you go. There you go.
And you know what? These days, I mean, especially being on YouTube and all of that, I mean, if we do decide to do something crazy, we'll probably just live stream it.
There we go.
Everybody got whatever's in your fridge. There you go. That's what you have for the wedding.
We'll get married over here on a Grey Pill podcast. You won't expect it. He gave us our first interview, and he gets our wedding too.
Hey, thank you. I'm pinning that right now. There you go. I will literally dress up and have the whole conversation. Just give me what I need to say, and there you go.
There you go. Well, maybe you can do what's that thing that you do
where you can like marry people?
Yeah.
Trust me, Brett. Vic. You already know. In the States, anybody can be a bishop. Anybody can be a deacon.
In the U.S., it's different.
Yeah. You go do the little online thing. Hey,
he wants Elvis.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah.
He wants Elvis.
Hey, we got a black Elvis, white Elvis, Asian Elvis. Come, I got you. Whatever you got, Vic, I got you. Everybody call me Pastor Grey Pill because I will be coming on through.
There we go.
Oh, actually, we do have somebody. A chaplain.
Oh, that's right, chaplain.
We do have an online friend.
We do know somebody.
Yeah, we do. Have
okay, cool. There you go.
Yeah.
But this all sounds like a big plan. Nah, let's
Too much pressure. Yeah. And we'd both back out of that one pretty quick.
Yeah, we'd be the only two that didn't show up. Back at the house going, nah.
Nah, I'm not in the mood for that. Yeah. Even our wedding in The Sims was stressful. We had over 100 people at our wedding in The Sims.
Really?
Yeah, people rolling in and out, and
we had I wore a beautiful wedding dress. Well, my avatar did. He was all in a tuxedo. We did have somebody up at the podium that married us. We had over 100 other Sims sitting lined up, and buffet.
Nice.
We did our first dance. We had music. We had everything. Why would you want to do that more than once?
Man, I wish y'all could have that recorded because some things you couldn't save. That'd have been a good one.
I do agree with you on that. I wish we would have recorded more. It wasn't now back when The Sims was running. It wasn't super easy to really just run.
Yeah.
I guess you could, but
Yeah.
I mean, the computers were all potatoes for the most part.
It'd have been so great to have that say and recorded.
Yeah, Brett Tofino's beautiful for sure.
Yeah. I can pull up a picture of us though. I do have a picture. Do you want to see it?
Sure. Yeah, sure. You share it out to the fans out there.
Give me 1 second here.
You have a picture of us?
Well, it's at the beginning of that one video. I won't play the video, but I'll pause it.
You could play the video if you want to. Great Pill, have you seen our
Nah.
one video? Because we could play that as our outro.
Sure. Well, let's see the picture.
This picture's good.
Okay.
This one is just our first year together. Is the video? If you're a member on our channel, aren't you? Did you get a membership?
I believe I did.
Yeah, people have been getting. Anyways, you'll be able to see the video on membership videos.
Okay.
Am I signed into me? Yeah. How come I don't see the video?
All right. While you're looking for it, I appreciate everybody for coming on through. Again, if you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you're just following on through in the end of the conversation, I appreciate you. When the stream is over, you're more than welcome to go back on the replay and check the whole conversation out. So we got the real live Mr. and Mrs. Sims from the original
Mr. and Mrs. Sims.
Yes.
We should have named ourselves that.
Yeah, I shared this out to somebody. It's like, why'd you have the title? And why you got the title? I was like, because it's catchy. But yeah, so the real life Mr. and Mrs. Sims met, courted, talked, and here they are married, but married in the eyes of the Lords. Real life Mr. and Mrs. Sims. To me,
and the picture's not even great. This is the
That's
graphics.
what the graphics
this
were,
is the
yeah.
graphics of the Sims Online. There we
Okay.
are, the mafia couple.
I'm sure I know.
So there you go. That's Sim 1 graphics for you.
That's us. Yeah.
Okay. She looked like she mad. That's when she threw the furniture out.
Oh, I was probably mad. He looks a little mad too, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was probably right after I put all my furniture back in the house.
Well, it looks like there's a fountain out there that probably was in your
inventory?
in your casino. I threw it out on the lawn. Yeah.
I got a lot that's the most annoying and the biggest inconvenience ever when you got to put stuff back and reorganize it the way you left it perfectly.
Oh, especially
Man.
with that place, it was huge.
I believe it.
And he was
And
gone.
it was
He was
intricate.
gone long
It was
enough.
intricate. Oh.
He was gone long enough for me to literally put it all out there, all of it, every little bit.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a maxed out property and it was a gorgeous casino.
At least she didn't delete it, because I know some people that will literally just take the cash and burn it, or take the items and delete them and sell them.
Stuff, even if they lived with you.
Oh, they couldn't?
No, I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't delete his stuff. I wouldn't have done that anyways. I was just trying to be spicy.
Okay. Ours, if let's say, because it was the league layer, so if you had the whole league or clan, because it's different names for everyone, the league, clan, or guild, then you have your separate like a layer. So if you gave somebody permission in your layer, they can do whatever they want to your unfriend. They can delete it, remove it. If you gave them an item, they'll pretty much salvage it. It was a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Dang.
So you have to be very careful who you allow in your home, who you give access to. I remember one time I didn't even know I had access to some people layer. I would just run in there just run around, teabag people, and just run back out. I didn't have the care in the world. Yeah, that was it. And someone like, okay, and that would be it.
Oh, too funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. It depends on, you got to be careful with your permissions, that's for sure. But fortunately back then she couldn't delete all my stuff. She could just move it all out of its spot.
And then I'd send him a song. We sent each other a lot of songs, so I'd send him, you don't own me.
That would be very, very frustrating.
Peel me a grape.
Peel me a grape. Yes, that was one of the songs I sent to you.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yep.
I see Wendy B from AZ down there. She actually we met on here on YouTube, but we found out that we actually played Sims together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she actually plays as well, and we found that out. She was
like we've actually hung with her in the remake of it too. Like,
yeah, and she's like, well, what was your name in The Sims? So that's pretty funny to find that people are.
Did they do any crossovers from, not really crossover, but they, except for the development, like how much of the development from the online Sims they bring to the new one when y'all decided to go over there to visit? They brought a lot of it.
It was a reboot actually of the original game, so it doesn't have the same name, but it's almost the same game. But they've actually continued production with it, so it's gone way further than the original game ever did.
Yeah,
but it's not an EA game. It is literally
they
non-for-profit. They can't make money. They can't take donations because they're using an open source that they've got access to.
Yeah,
so they're basically running it for free.
Mm-hmm. And we had considered doing that at one point as well, actually running one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so nobody have no real questions. I figure I asked all the questions. I questioned everybody out. So again, I appreciate everybody for coming through. If you have any questions, definitely hit up in the chat. We will bring all the questions up. While we're doing that, I'm going to drop your link. So we're going to pretty much have like an after party over there to VicBC Live. That's what they normally do. Maybe. So again, that's how they do it in English. Is maybe a wedding, maybe not a wedding. So
maybe alive, he's maybe not alive.
Yeah, we might go up in about a half an hour, 45 minutes or so. Maybe.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll do this. I'll drop their link in the community tab, so you're more than welcome to jump on. And you can explain what your channel about, because again, for me, I always dub like a little secret place for me. I like to hang out and have the conversation with people, and y'all, your community is the most politest, nicest ever, Thank you. So I thank you for that. I appreciate you making the space more welcoming for a lot of people, because I gotta say, every space, a lot of spaces I've been on, a lot of people from certain spaces always have a lot of negative conversations or negative input of the outcome they want, but they don't ever get. And when I hear certain things like, oh, this never, I'm like, that's not true. And I either think of your channel. I think of through the Looking Glass channel. She always do her own thing. She's like y'all. She randomly come on late night. She just talk about random stuff. She's in a whole other space. God bless her, because she goes through her hand, but she does her own thing. Poppy Blanco, he's in the chat. He's another guy. He's been in it with me for starting our channels together, but man, his niche is so totally different. But he created a space of his own, and even from the space that I mentioned earlier, from the relationships topic. So shout out to him and a lot of people out there that does their own thing. So I can't think of everybody else. Peace, love, L Nixon, Robbie. If I'm forgetting anybody, Duke the Dawn. Anybody else out there that's created their own space for themselves. Definitely a free thinker. Definitely, I love perspective. That's pretty much what the Grey Pill Podcast is all about. If I hear a great area, let's have that conversation. I want to hear different thoughts on different people. Let's come together on a real conversation. And then at the end of it, solutions. So for me, to y'all guys, y'all are like the best solution ever, and the best example ever. And you're not perfect. And you're okay with that. And I think that's a problem with a lot of people. They're not okay not being perfect. So if you'd like to explain what your channel about, and we'll close out from there. So again, I want to thank y'all again. So thank you.
Thanks for having us over. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'll take it for a second here.
Sure.
Our channel's basically about bringing people together. That's one of the things that we want to do. It started out very differently, but now that's what it's about. We do, trivia nights, bingo nights, open panels. A lot of the panels get removed because, they can get a little spicy sometimes when we have a bunch of people up there. But it's always a good time. And of course, there's shorts and stuff, and I don't know how political you get on your channel, so I won't go too far into it. But we definitely started out because of the convoy in Canada. So, but it is taking a different route, just like that's what everybody goes, right? Like cooking, like all kinds of stuff. Just good people making new friends. That's all it is.
Okay. Anything you, Vic?
Go ahead.
Yep. Pretty much everything she said there, again, like it started, was because of the people we've met, from, dealing with the convoy that happened in Ottawa. And we met a lot of those people downtown in our city and had no clue that they were down there. supporting this and, being against, the mandates and being basically wanting freedom to do whatever you want with your own body, So met a lot of people, a lot of love. So there's a lot of support for that on our channel as well.
Yeah.
And but aside from that, we love we've definitely transitioned over into, the bingo nights on Wednesdays.
Just good, bringing people together, having a good time.
There's not a lot of negativity that we allow on our channel. The more positive, the better. And if you're having fun, even better.
Fair enough. Somebody had a question. It was multiple super kill. I apologize if I'm screwing up the name. We'll go multi super. He says, well, that was to Poppy, but his question was okay, there it is. What games do they like now, if any?
Oh, well, 7 Days to Die, I've always got a bit of a love for.
We both like that one.
That one's just, you get pretty immersed in it. It's
survival.
It's a zombie game.
I never thought I would ever play a zombie game, but because it's one of those games that you do work together and you got to get yourself shelter and you got to do this. We kind of enjoy the survival aspect of games now a lot. So
yeah. Conan Exiles and Ark Survival, which is a dinosaur survival game, basically, and it's terrifying in the beginning.
What about Ranch Simulator?
And Ranch Simulator. Well, going back to the simulators, there is Ranch Simulator.
We do like simulator games, for sure.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Those are definitely the ones that stand out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So again, I'm gonna drop. I appreciate your guys again. So again, fellas, I'm gonna drop their link in the community tab. They may say an hour, maybe 30 minutes. Who knows? Oh, also, because I don't think they on your channel you mostly do bingo games and trivia games. So how often do y'all do that?
Friday night's trivia night every Friday. Wednesday night's bingo night. We do giveaways. And then we usually do an after party afterwards where we open up a new live, and that's a panel where people can come up and have discussion and just have fun, have drinks, whatever. So,
yeah.
So Wednesday and Friday, every Wednesday and Friday we go live. But we pop up randomly.
Then the one thing we didn't really talk about really quick is that we also like to take people for drives. We'll throw the phone in the windshield there, and we just drive you around Victoria, and just kind of talk. And we've actually met a couple. We met like Andy, who was in chat earlier. His daughter lives in Victoria, and we ended up driving. He's like, take me to the neighborhood.
The neighborhood.
Yeah, we'll drive by the neighborhood, and he's like, hey, all right, this is great.
Yeah, we do a lot of real life stuff. Just walks showing around the island that we live on. So
yeah.
All right, fair enough.
That's the name VicBC. I don't know if you ever put it together, but we're in Victoria, BC, Canada.
Yeah, I did not put that together.
And we do lives.
Okay.
VicBC Live.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Wanda, are we there yet?
Are we there yet? Yes. We can get people sitting in the back of the van saying, "Are we there yet?"
That's what we always joke about. Everybody, all the kids are in the bus. He's poking me. He's touching me. So the drives are actually a lot of fun quite often. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I definitely appreciate you guys for just being y'all. So there you go. You have it, Mr. and Mrs. Vic, Miss T. So I appreciate your guys again. Thank you for being y'all guys.
Appreciate you, Great Pill.
For the people came in to support, thank you again. Again, if it's not for you, it wouldn't be no Grey Pill Podcast. If it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be no VicBC Live. So we both thank y'all. If you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. It helps out. Definitely hit the like, the thumbs up, thumbs down. It helps the algorithm too. If you're new coming in, hit all comments. Let us know what you thought about the conversation, dealing with relationship, gaming, or what have you. So on that note,
at last.
The king's back in the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do. I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose.